Welcome to the Coach Cano Podcast. This is a new episode. I have my friend Dave Berard here with me, a coach, a friend, a supporter of youth athletes. Man, you are always involved with anything related with after school sports, helping out with the football team. You're either cheering any other team that's playing. It doesn't matter what sport it is. You're there for the kids. You're coaching with me, the girls soccer team, coaching the track team. You stay busy, man. Welcome to the show. So good to have you.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
What got you into sports?
So I played sports growing up. I had an older brother, so I was always with him at his sporting events. And then I hit the age where I could actually start participating and stuff. And I played youth soccer growing up. I played from, I want to say U8 all the way up to high school.
Oh,
I gave it up when I got to high school because I found my love for golf.
Okay.
That was kind of the trade-off. They were both ball sports.
Ouch. So you
And
went from soccer to golf
Yeah.
in high school.
yes, so I played golf with my father on the weekends and stuff like that. And when I got to high school, I felt that was the sport that I would be more competitive in.
I
So
see.
I put my cleats aside.
Interesting. I
And
never played golf before. Never. I
Yeah.
don't even think I even had held a golf club. That's what we call that.
Yeah.
Ever.
It's a very rewarding and frustrating game at the same time.
I could see that. So your father always played?
Yeah, my father played. He played probably from like the time I was 10 until like now. So I was always tagging along, going to the driving range, and then finally I got my own set and was able to start going to the course with him. And like I said, it's just such a beautiful game, and it's relaxing and
Yeah.
it's stressful, but you
That's
learn
a-
a lot about your character when you play golf. It's a lot like tennis. You and I
Right.
both play tennis, and playing at the school, like we didn't have referees for like the matches and stuff, so it was an honor system, calling your own balls in, own balls out. Same thing in golf.
Golf takes a lot of time. Like,
It can, especially
Right.
when you're learning. Like the better you get, obviously, with like anything, you're able
Right.
to do it at a quicker pace. So when you're beginning, it could take you 4 hours to golf 9 holes. But, once you learn the game, you could golf 9 holes in an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So
Is it accessible?
it's very accessible. Like, I mean, really, you could go to, I'm going to give a shameless plug, Dick's Sporting Goods,
Yeah.
and you could get a starter set of clubs for like $179.
No
And it
kidding.
would have the essentials that you need to either go to the driving range and start gaining confidence or go to a course.
Because I always picture golf being one of the most expensive sports to try
So
to play.
it can be. Once you start getting into like, I don't want to say the real clubs, but
Yeah.
once you start like building an actual set and stuff, like there's drivers that cost $600. Like it's
That's
crazy.
crazy.
And the other thing that makes it hard for some people is every time you go, you have your greens fees, and those can be, anywhere from $50 to $100, depending on what
so
course
the
you're
pricing
playing at.
comes to the field
Right.
usage.
Yeah.
pretty much.
So really, it's a one-time cost when you're buying like your clubs.
Yeah.
But then it's everything after that. Like you need balls. If you keep losing balls, you have to go and buy more balls. And
Right.
so
That's what makes it expensive at the
Right.
end. All the accumulative.
Right. The nice
expense.
thing is a lot of places are starting to do like the youth programs where they get clubs, the green fees are covered, and like they do things, so it makes it accessible for them to learn and fall in love with the game.
That
And
makes
then
sense. Yeah, man, that's pretty nice. You mentioned tennis also. So did you play tennis when
Like-
you were little, or did you play it in high school?
that was a sport that I picked up in high school. I
Mhm.
was looking for something to do in the spring,
Spring season.
and I was like, you know what?
No, I mean,
I had ran indoor track, and I was like, I could do outdoor track. I'm like, but let's try something different.
That's exactly how it happened with me too. Like, hey, what do I do in the spring? Because the seasonal system that high school has here in the U.S., right, is It's beneficial in the sense of it'll give you a lot of opportunities in high school for you to try out different sports, which is rare. So in the sense of you experimenting with different sports, different activities, it is an amazing system. It's beautiful, and I took full advantage of it. Do you think it has like a negative impact though at the professional level? The fact that you do all these different sports, and then if you at the higher level you start going and you start playing against people who only did like basketball, and you were all over the place in high school.
Right.
Do you think that will have a type of impact?
Yes and no. So my take on that is it's kind of, if you know you're really excelling at something, you kind of, that's where your focus goes, and it almost becomes like a 3-season sport for you. And then you might do a couple of other things for fun. Whereas myself, as an example, I was never a high caliber athlete. I was competitive
Yes.
and I did it for fun. So I never felt like it would hold me back from doing anything with anybody, just because, like, for me, it was, I'm doing this just to be a part of something bigger than myself.
Hmm.
And, I don't want to say just stay in shape, but for me, it was fun and competitive. I feel like, we can use our basketball team as an example with how much they progressed. Those boys are basketball players. Like, that's
Yes.
like
That's all.
what they're built to be. And for them, like, they have like their AAU leagues, like their summer
Mhm.
leagues, all that stuff, and that's their focus. Other things that they do, it's for like conditioning. Like, we have a couple of the kids that are doing track. They're there because they just want to stay in shape, and I can respect that. And I know who to push what buttons with, just based on that, knowing that
Exactly.
I might not be their priority, but they're there. So if I can support them
Yeah.
in any way, we will.
No, that makes a lot of sense, man. Because I always wonder, right? Like some of the sports here are highly competitive internationally. I'm talking about the
Yeah.
United States, but all the major athletes at the international level, that one sport that they do, that's what they've done all their lives. It's unless there's a case that I don't know of a multi sport athlete
Right.
that made it big time. But the push here in the in high school sports seems to be multi-sport athletes, which again, for non-professional vision or non-professional, I don't even know how to say it, goals, it's the best system you can have. It's gonna work for the vast majority of
Right.
kids, right? But the more you start specializing, I think doing multiple sports might hurt you. The one only exception will be now MMA that has become popular. You need multiple,
It,
but all within the brand
it,
of combat sports. But you do need multiple, but that's exactly what the sport is. Everything else, like I kind of struggle a little bit with this because I'm not used to the system.
right.
When I started coaching high school sports here in the US, it took me a while to really understand my athletes because most of my athletes were doing multiple sports at the same time. And then when you go and face a team that only plays soccer and their athletes play soccer all year round versus your soccer players who are only doing it seasonal, you could see the difference. There's a big, big
Yeah.
difference in skills.
I was going to say it is tough. And for me, it's almost like I think as a country, we try to avoid that burnout factor when the kids are growing up.
Yeah.
And it's almost like you see it through the high school level where they're playing multiple, and then they get to college, and that's almost when they start to pick that
Mm.
that one sport that they go after. And there's rare cases that you'll see like a football player that's a really good baseball player, and because the seasons are so far apart,
They
they're
could do
they're
both.
still able to do both. But I think that we as a country here is kind of wait till they get
Right. A little
to
older.
to college, and then it's like,
Yeah.
oh, it's almost like it's time to put your big boy pants on and pick which one
Right.
you want to do.
It's always been interesting. And again, I'm still not used to it. I'm still I'm still pushing towards having longer seasons in every sport. Like soccer, to me, like, I would love to have it all year round,
Right.
and not have it be a 2-month program. And then same thing, I would love to have swimming all year round and not have it be a 2-month program. But I also understand the other side of it. I know why that can get a little tricky, even though I still think it could be pulled off. Maybe as a coach, you're gonna lose the privilege or coach in multiple sports, which is something that I enjoy myself. I am right now taking advantage of that opportunity. But in the competitiveness, we like to compete at the end of the day. In the With the competitive spirit, I'm still not used to that seasonal sport system. Like, I finish a season and I feel like, man, we just got started getting good and now the season's over. And then you got to wait another year and you hope your athletes stay in shape.
And well, it's funny because, like you said, you coming here and like having to shift your mindset. That's what I grew up with. My entire life was like, this is what you do in the fall. This is what you do in the winter. This is what you do in the spring. So it is. It's funny to kind of hear you be like, it's just so like frustrating. Like
It
you feel like
is.
you've gained that traction, and then all of a sudden it's like you put it on pause for 9 months.
Because that's exactly what it is with the girls soccer team. They give me 2 weeks to get them in shape. In 2 weeks, unless you're in shape, you don't get anybody in shape in 2 weeks unless you already come well conditioned.
Right.
So I get 2 weeks for preseason to get them in shape. Takes longer than that. After 6 weeks, okay, finally they can all now play a full match. The team, you're figuring out everybody's position now. You have a system that works now. The team is actually looking good now. Season's over.
Yeah. You hit states and you're like, okay,
Yes.
you're like, all right, if we had 2 more weeks before state started, we could put this in, we could put that in.
Right.
And like you said too, like you're spending those first 6 weeks. There's a lot of people that it might be their first time playing soccer
Right.
in our situation,
Yeah.
and you're teaching fundamentals at the same time that you're trying to like
Build a competitive team. That's a challenge. What have you found more challenging as a coach? Because you have been around sports multiple times, but you were mentioning to me that this is your first experiences coaching teams.
Yeah.
How was that transition? Like,
So I'm not gonna lie to you. Everybody that's around sports is like, "Well, I could coach. It's easy." Like you just think you're gonna walk in, it's gonna be easy. And like the first 2 weeks of soccer, I don't want to say I felt completely lost, but I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do what coach like tells me to do, because I didn't want to screw anything up or like mess up any of the flow and it's weird. Like obviously as the season goes on, you get more comfortable. You get more comfortable in your role and with the routines and that stuff. And I feel like the biggest challenge at first was like me finding that different voice. Like it's one thing as like a fan or a bystander or someone that's just there helping. You talk to the team or the players in a different way.
yeah.
When you're a coach, you're responsible for them and you're accountable for their performance. And so like to me, that was like the big difference was almost taking that humble pie in the beginning and being like, okay, you don't know everything. You have to kind of get into it. And then seeing how much more confident you were getting in me and how much more comfortable the girls were getting with me, and that they started to believe like in the things that I was saying and why we were doing things the way we were doing them.
Oh, I see. So it took a little while to kind of find a voice
Yes.
of, okay, I'm not just here to give a pat in the back, right?
Right.
Because when you were just supporting, that's exactly what you were doing. Because you used to go to all the games, and being present, it's also good, right? Being that support system of, hey, it's okay. Maybe the game didn't go your way, but you'll be okay. You get him next time. Versus, yes, I still have to say that, but I also got to give them feedback to try to help them do it better next time.
Right. No,
That's the
absolutely.
switch.
And like for me, that was the biggest thing. Like, and we had talked before the season, so like having played soccer, like I knew the fundamentals, I knew the rules, but not having played at a high level, some of the strategic stuff that we were going to work on and do, like those were the things that sometimes I was just like, I'm just going to let coach talk and I'm going to learn at the same time
Exactly.
that the girls are learning. And then next time it comes up, I'm going to be like, no, like you need to do this and shift this way and fill that gap in.
So it is a big learning curve, huh?
Like I said, everybody thinks it's easy, but
Until you have to be there
when you
doing it.
have to do it, it's a real big slice, of humble pie.
Do you think it would have been easier as a first time experience because you joined our program after 4 seasons of me working with the team? So you joined on my 5th season with the team, which I already have a system going. So the expectation from my first season, which I'm just rebuilding everything, to 5th season where I'm like, we're going for the championship. Do you think it would have been an easier transition starting on the first season, or would the challenge would have been the same regardless of what the expectation for the team was?
I actually think it was better to come in where I came in
Interesting.
because all that structure was kind of already in place with the girls that were there. So all of the returning players already kind of knew.
I see what you're saying.
So I could
Yeah.
lean on them a little bit too. Like I could lean on our captains and I could, lean on that next tier that's going to be captains this year and kind of leverage them to help as I was progressing.
That's a very good point. Yeah, I would have figured, right? Yeah, the system is already in place. I just got to learn what's happening, pick it up, and then the support is already there, right? Versus, oh, I got to help him build the
Right.
system.
Like I walked into a culture that was amazing. It was, it had been a winning program the last couple of seasons before that. So my job was to just come in and not screw it up. You know what I mean?
That's a lot of pressure too, man, because season 1, you wouldn't have that pressure, right? Like it would have been like, nah, hey, that didn't work. We could change it, try this one now. So there's less pressure, but I understand what you're saying. What was challenging about coaching the girls soccer team for the first time for you as a new coach?
So for me, most of the sports that I was heavily involved with were always the boys' sports.
Right.
So it was learning how to manage the personalities
A different story, right?
and still having like a high standard and expectation, but maybe delivering the message in a different manner and not like I have to like sugarcoat and be sensitive,
Exactly.
but find the right words that are gonna like strike the right way.
Yeah. And I'm still struggling with that part. The communication, it is different. The way you will talk to a team of boys, teenage boys, and the way you will talk to a team of teenage girls, it is very different. Um, n- I'm still trying to figure it out what exactly works. Sometimes with the girls, feedback really helps. Like to what I've experienced so far, right? Girls, they take feedback a lot better than boys do. Like, coach, what do I need to do? What do I got to do? And they really listen to feedback, and then they go and try to actually implement it. Versus the boys, feedback doesn't really go that well, but um, motivation, if you want to call it that, like to
Yeah,
the boys, you're like, hey,
you
gotta
almost
step it up. We gotta run a little harder. So it's not really feedback on the technical sense, is more on the emotional
right. You're
sense of
almost
it.
attacking their pride because you're
Yes.
calling them out, so that they kind of need that little bit of motivation. Where like
Yes.
what you're saying, like the girls want more of the technical,
Yes.
like understanding to like what can I do to improve
Exactly. And that
and
one
it's
took
not the same for all of them. There's some girls that
of course.
need their pride checked, and
Of
there's
course.
some boys that want the technical, but
Of
the
course.
overwhelming
Yeah.
majority.
So that's what I've gotten so far. Like when things are not working well for the girls team, giving them clear directions works a lot better than me just, hey, run, you gotta move it. That one doesn't cut it for them. Like you gotta be more specific because that's what they're looking for. They're like, okay, something's not working. Tell me how to fix it, and then they go and they fix it. With the boys, if you kind of pump them up, if you tell them, hey, it's okay, just make that run again, keep working hard, don't let them beat you. Don't That kind of gets them going more often than not, which is very interesting. It's difficult waters to navigate, regardless, though. What's different between coaching soccer and coaching track?
There's not really a whole lot different. Obviously, soccer's got a few more aspects to it where you're working on passing and shooting and all that every day. But when it comes down to it, really, I'm just with track, I'm teaching the kids form. So I'm still teaching them technique and tactical stuff. It's more pushing them so that they understand what their limits are and understanding that when you're tired, it doesn't mean that you run slower. You have to find that
Right.
that little piece inside you to keep going. The real challenge is having both the boys and girls together, because I have the distance team, so we practice as a unit. We
Yes.
practice mixed. So sometimes I have to remind myself that I'm setting time goals for things, but the guys in most cases are faster than the girls. There are girls that run guys' times and vice versa, but same thing, large majority
Yes.
of the guys typically run an event, 15, 20 seconds faster than the girls.
Oh, so the intervals of
Right.
training, you got.
So I have to sometimes remind myself and pull myself back with that and be like, this group's goal is this group's goal is this, and kind of knowing who's capable of what and who I want to kind of push into that next window.
That's right. And that's always a tricky part too when it comes to choosing a lineup, for example. Is the one I hate the most. Like, I wish everybody could play. I wish everybody could just go, hey, you know what? All of you, 30 of you, just rush the field. You want to give everybody playtime, right? I'm assuming in track, you don't have room for everybody on every event.
Right. It's tough. So we're lucky enough that because we compete with the other schools in the CACs, a lot of them are in the same boat we're in. So we have heats that are a little bit bigger than most other schools probably do. So we do cap the amount that we can have in, but I can run typically in most events up to 6 or 7 kids, which lets me get those fringe varsity kids into meets. And then I can always kind of sneak an additional JV kid in to get them, a little bit of work and make them feel more part of the team and,
Right.
get that experience. But it's a challenge. We were talking the other day about our meet that we were having yesterday, and I go, I've made my lineup 9 times, and I go, I can't decide on what I want to do, because it's hard.
Yeah.
You want to find where the player is going to help you the most.
Right.
Sometimes that's going to be an event that the player or the runner doesn't want to
Doesn't necessarily
compete in, or
like.
doesn't think that they need to compete in. And you have to have that talk with them and say, individually, it might not be the best for you, but team-wise, it's the best for the team. It's how we have the chance to score the most points or get the most goals or have the most saves. And it's hard. It's hard getting them to believe you sometimes. And
What? How does the conversation go with the kid? That for the benefit of the team, they kind of have to take that bullet, right? How do you convince them?
I don't want to say hey, I need you to run this, or I'm going to put somebody else in. But in some cases, it's come to that where it's these are the 2 races that I need you to run.
Yeah.
If you can't run those 2 races, then you're going to run this one, and I'm going to put somebody else in that, but you don't get to run this one. You're not going to help me there, unfortunately. So these are the 2 places that I need you in. That's going to be best for your teammates. And 95% of the time, they're like, okay, coach, because they want to compete.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, they're there for a reason. They want to compete. It's just sometimes getting them to understand that you're not always going to get to do what you want in life.
Exactly.
And that's the other part of coaching is, we're teaching these kids that you don't always get it your way. I'm going to give it to you your way as much as I can if it fits the proper agenda, but sometimes you're going to lose out and you're going to have to do it the other way.
Exactly. And it's obviously the most important part of any position that has to do with working with the youth. It's that life experience that you could get from sports to eventually, or hopefully, they can transfer that to real life later on, because you hit it right on the head. It's sometimes you don't have to give them the choice. Sometimes you just, the team needs you here and that's where you go. And your job is to say, yeah, I'm here for the team. If you really want to be a good teammate, right? Like, you really are part of this team, then we do what's best for the team. And that's going to translate to exactly what you said. Sometimes you're going to get a job that you maybe don't like, but that's the one that the family needs right now, right?
Yeah.
And no, this is the job that's helping the family. Let me get through it until eventually I'm able to get myself something better. And that's the equivalent of, oh, I got moved out of position. Well, right now you have to grind in this job that you maybe don't like, you don't enjoy, and that you really want to get out of, but you can't just leave it like that. You got to give it all you got here, because that's what's helping the family. That's what helping you. And then eventually you're going to work your way to something that you really want to do, that you're really going to enjoy, and then you're going to give your 120% to it. Meanwhile, give me your 120 on this one. That's going to help you get you there.
We're trying to teach them to be the best versions of themselves.
Yes.
And sometimes that's being able to do what you don't want to do.
Exactly. I had a few instances of that when one of my best players was doing drivers at the same week where we had two important games in the team. So obviously she wasn't going to be able to play those two games. And at the beginning I did get mad because she has all year to do driver's ed, and she chose to do it during soccer season when she didn't play any other sport for the school. So that one is like, okay, you obviously made the wrong choice here. Why book driver's ed on the only sports season that you actually participate in? You could have done it winter, you could have done it spring, you could have done it summer. No, it had to be in the fall. After I analyzed everything, I had to stand by the rules, and I'm like, listen, you're gonna miss 2 games, and you know the policy. You're gonna miss 3 practices and 2 games. That means for every practice that you miss for non-excusable reasons, I gotta sit you for a game. So that's 3 practices. For every game that you miss for non-excusable reasons, I gotta sit you for. So that's a total of 5 games plus the 2 that you're missing. That's 7 games.
That's half the season.
That's half the season. And her dad came over, talked to me, and said, like, you're punishing her for trying to do something that's going to be beneficial for her on the long run. And I'm like, I'm not trying to punish her. She's literally the best player in the team right now. So I'm only hurting my own team by doing this. But I have to stick to the rules. She needs to learn the lesson. I'm not saying she made a bad choice. She just made a choice, which that's all we got. You got choices. I either choose soccer and do my full season, or I choose getting my driver's permit as fast as I can, which is something that I also really want. So you got 2 things that you really want, but you cannot do both. And you're going to get that in life a lot. So you pick. And obviously, if you pick one, you got to let go of the other. You cannot have both because they're exactly at the same schedule. So she made her choice. That's all there's to it. I'm not mad. I'm not angry. Maybe I'm
frustrated, but I'm not angry.
Exactly. I'm obviously it's gonna hurt the team. So I wish she would be here and playing. I wish it was that simple as me just saying, "All right, you missed those 2 games and that's it." But we set the rules from the very beginning. And if I break them for one, I got to break them for everybody else. And that just, you know how that goes at the end. So I had to stick to the rules and just a little more communication, right? And the dad understood at the end, you know what? If you're right. At the end of the day, you are right. I was lucky enough that I had a conversation with a mature parent,
Right.
who was able to talk to me and not just come and full throttle at me.
Guns blazing, yelling
Right?
at you.
What are you doing?
Play my
Kid? Yes. It was somebody reasonable, and talking is always good. Communication is key, but she needed to learn the lesson. It's not about a good or a bad choice. No, it is a choice, and you made your choice, and you go. I wish you the best with your driver's ed. Hopefully, you do
Right.
get the permit.
Right. And then when you get your license, you can drive other kids back and forth to
Right.
practice when they
Then-
can't be here when we do Saturday
Exactly.
stuff. So in the end, it is going to help me, but rules are rules.
Right. Exactly. So, and she also understood. She's like, that makes sense. That's fair. That's fair. And then she did great with driver's ed. We lost her for the games that we needed, that we had a loser for. But during practice, she was there giving her 100% during every practice. When she was able to come back, she came back with the right attitude. And I'm like, that's the key right there. That's the lesson to be learned. It's not about getting mad at me because I set you down. No, earn your spot again. Fight for it again. You got your driver's license. Beautiful. Good for you. Now come back to us, earn your spot again, and then you get to play your last season. She was a senior playing her last season, and she did. But as difficult as that is, you have to stick to the rules, and you have to send the right message to the rest of the team. Right? 'Cause it's so easy, right? That, oh, she's my best player. If the team will benefit from it, it's easy to break that rule.
No, it is. It's hard sometimes to, even as a coach, to do what the right thing is.
Thing.
Because the right thing's not always the best thing.
It's not always the best. It really isn't, man. That's why it's so hard.
I mean, we had conversations on the buses when we were putting lineups together this year going toward the playoffs.
Right.
Like what was the best thing to do?
Right. And but it's part of the job too. It's part of the job, and it's part of the fun also. I think it would be very boring if everything was just like set. No chaos.
Nice and easy.
Right? If it's too smooth, it's boring. If it's too easy, it's boring. So you gotta need that chaos in between, because you need obstacles to overcome. You really do. It's when it starts getting tough.
Well, that's when you see true character who's willing to put the work in.
Yes. And you really start getting to know people and understand people, which it's important. And the best friendships come out of difficult situations. They really do. The most long-lasting friendships probably came from you went through something very difficult with this person. So that connection is almost unbreakable now because of that. So chaos is necessary, just not too much though. Sometimes it's
the right kind of chaos.
right, the right kind of chaos. Control chaos, maybe, if that's a thing. Is that a thing?
Yeah, to an extent. If you create the chaos, you know how to control it. So
probably. So you gotta mess things up on purpose. No, that's sabotage, right? That's not.
I had a boss when I worked retail that would occasionally create chaos by doing a project wrong to make the other managers rally and like fix it and so in a way, like. Yeah. I get it. Like I say, like it's sabotage, but you're sabotaging with good intention because you're trying to get your team to rally together.
Right. Hopefully this works out. Let's see what happens.
Hopefully everybody doesn't leave and quit on me.
Right. I mean, it's almost like human nature now that I think about it. You know the amount of beehives that I went after, just there. I'm good. Me and the boys, we're good. Nothing's happening. Oh, there's bees over there. I wonder what will happen if we hit it. And then chaos breaks loose. Everybody's running for their lives. Somebody got stung. Everybody's panicking. But then everything goes away. And like, oh, man, that was crazy. And you'll never forget those moments either. It's human nature. Right? We're always looking for something to like, I don't know, disturb the peace somehow. But yeah, we kind of derailed a little bit from sport. Going back into um coaching, did you coach over the winter?
I didn't. So winter season is when I work with the boys basketball team. I do
Right.
the scoreboard with Coach Sear
Right.
for the games and stuff. So that's kind of my winter contribution as of right now. I'd love to get involved with the indoor track, hopefully sometime in the future. Now that I'm doing outdoor,
Right.
and kind of transition from indoor to outdoor with the kids and keep building. And
What got you going into always staying active with sports? Because you have your full-time job and your schedule sometimes is all over the place. And somehow you always manage to find room to be there helping, supporting, or coaching a sports program at the school, man.
I'll be honest. I got that from my father.
Mm,
My father was a teacher. He was a coach. He coached football. That's how I got involved with
I see.
my love for that. Um, he was always picking up side jobs on the weekend and working, and uh, but then always made time to be at mine or my brother's sporting events. So it's kind of like one of those things. Like I watched that as a kid growing up. And then as an athlete at the school, I had teachers that would come to my track meets or go to my tennis matches. And just knowing what that meant to me and how that felt to me, it's something that I wanted to be able to start to do for like that next generation, for the ones that might come from a single family home, that the
Right.
parents working and can't be there to support them.
Right.
And and it's a fun thing to be around, and I keep saying it, but to feel like you're a part of something bigger than yourself is really why we all do the things that we
That is
do.
right, man. That's beautiful, man. That is amazing. And the fact that it was a personal experience from all the teachers and coaches that turn you into this caring person that you are now today, that just speaks on how important it is to have those role models, right? Some of our kids don't have those models um growing up. They don't. And having a person like you, having the right, persons at school and in any other program that they're in, being there means a lot, man. And look at you, man. Like you are this man now that were changed by that and moved by that, and you're trying to replicate that now. You being that support system for all the kids is just incredible to me. Like that whole journey. It's sometimes we take it for granted. Sometimes we really do take it for granted on the real impact that we can actually have on a teenage kid.
I mean, it the best feelings, and like you're walking in the hallway and you hear one of the kids yell, "Hey, coach,"
All
or
right.
like
All right.
the fact that they're with all their friends and they're taking time away from what they're doing to come and say hi to you. And you know, even all the basketball kids. Like, I'm not the coach, I'm just at the game.
Right.
They all come up to me, "Hey, coach, hey, mister." They all find me in the hallway. They all shake my hand, dap me up, whatever.
Yeah.
And we don't do it for that, but when it happens, like it makes you feel
Yeah.
like everything that you're doing is worth it.
Exactly. Yeah. It's being grateful, right? It's just one of those feelings that it's really, really fuel. Fuel. It really is fuel, man. And I remember when you joined the girls soccer team, the whole team already knew who you were because you were at every game pretty much. It didn't matter how far away it was. Away games, yeah, I'll drive. If I have time, I'll drive. If I don't have time, I'll make up the time. And by the time you joined as an assistant coach, the whole team was already familiar with you just because you were there. You were present. And the fact that you say that you got that from your dad and your teachers, that just keeps me believing in humanity still. It's like, oh, man, there's hope. There's hope. There's a lot of people say because of everything, all the access that we have to have all the things that happen in the world. This phrase keeps coming up, right? Oh man, it's things are things are bad, things are worse. I don't know if that's true, man. I don't wanna believe that. I wanna believe your stories. I wanna believe the fact that Oh, thanks to my dad, I have the desire and motivation of doing what I'm doing right now for the other kids. Thanks to the teachers that I had, I want to be able to be a positive force to the youth that I have around me. That keeps me um sane in a way. That keeps me
No,
sane. That gives me hope. And I don't even know how to describe it, but it's a very good feeling that you get when you meet people. And I've been blessed, man. I've been lucky that you, Chris here, Scott, Mr. C from Biotech, um, all the coaches, all the friends that I've managed to gather at the school, they have this same background story of, nah, man, it's I was impacted by good mentors. I was impacted by good teachers, and I'm trying to give that back to the community, man. And that's I really want to say thank you for,
like,
because it is beautiful, man. And what does that do to you? You don't have kids,
no, I don't have kids. I have a niece and two nephews.
okay?
And then my cousins have like little ones and stuff like that. So I do get to experience it. But the kids at the school, those are
Kids,
my kids.
those are your
Like
kids.
the programs I'm involved with and the athletes that I've ushered through and been part of supporting, like I look at them as my kids. Their success is my success, even
Right.
if it's as a fan and I have like that much to do with it.
Right.
Like it is. Like you said, it's one of those things that motivates you and makes you feel good when alumni come back and they're on and they're on the sideline. They come up and they hug you from behind, and like all those little things. And like you might not realize it in the moment that like you're making a difference in that person's
Right.
life. And you might have a conversation just about like you really should go to school or you should do this or you should do that. And then you see him 5 years later, like, you know what? I didn't go to school right away, and I was working. Thought about what you said, and I did this, and like because I did that, now I can do this and I can do this, and like
That's right.
it's just crazy. Like you don't realize it in the moment, and then all of a sudden you get all these kids coming back to you thanking you for things, and you're like, wow, you're like,
That's right. Miss Doobie, do you know who Miss Doobie is? Jennifer
yes,
Doobie. She has no idea, man. She changed my life completely. She was my swim coach at the school. I joined the swim team when I was a junior year. For some damn reason, everybody at the freaking school always joins the swim team so late. I'm one of them. Should have done it freshman year. Joined as a junior, fell in love with it, kept on going my senior year, fell even more in love with it just because of the good experience that Mr. Cusack and Miss Doobie gave me. It was a great environment that they created. I have so much love for that school, man. That place was amazing to me. And the swim team treated me so well, made me feel so good. It challenged me because it was something brand new. I didn't know how to swim, man. I'm just, oh my God, I'm used to running and now I got to swimming. Oh Lord. It was challenging, man. You were a swimmer yourself. So, you did a little bit of swimming. So you know how that goes. You're used to the land and then I know where you're in the deep end. That doesn't go so well. But the experience was so good, so positive. Out of nowhere, freaking swimming took over the world for me. And it paid for my college career. It gave me one of the best jobs that I had so far when I was coaching at a university back home. I met so many great people, went to so many different places, and it all started because I had a very good experience with my high school swim team, man. And that's credit to Mr. Cusack and Miss Doobie, and obviously the whole school system that held the program up. And that's how big of an impact you can have on kids just by being the right mentor. Do you have anybody that you can look back and say, yeah, no, I will never forget this teacher. I will never forget this person. Is there anybody like that? Because to me, that's again, right, high school wise, Mr. Cusack.
I'll be honest, like every teacher I had in high school,
Oh, you're too
no, like
nice.
they made an impact on me
Yeah.
in different ways. Like m- my freshman year was a very difficult year for me. The first like 3 months.
Yeah.
So I came to Greater Lawrence from St. Augustine's when I was up on Tower Hill. I had 12 kids in my graduating class. There was like 180 kids in the entire school.
Wow.
And now I'm walking into like this building with all these people, and like I had like real anxiety issues and was struggling a ton. And I had Miss Clark as a freshman English teacher, and she was somebody that always like went out of her way to make me feel comfortable. And like when I say like all my teachers, like every year I had somebody that like
Yeah.
just either challenged me in a way that I needed to be challenged to just like do what I was supposed to be doing. Like I had Miss Flores for 3 years. I had her sophomore year, junior year, and senior year. And by senior year, she wanted to wring my neck because I was just like, because I was so defiant about doing things.
Yeah.
And like, she knew I could do the work, but I was just kind of like, meh. And I was like, yeah, I'm like, okay. Like, all right, fine, I'll do it.
All the high energy a teenager gets when it comes to schoolwork, right?
But like, it was awesome. It was such a great experience in general. My shop teachers were fantastic. I took electrical when I was there, and I had Mr. Crafton, Mr. Sonia, Mr. Shula.
You have Mr. Sonia too?
Yeah.
And Mr. Wow.
Well, and it's funny now he's working at the school doing stuff, and it's like good. It's so like I call him by his name now, but
we
it's
got
always
the
like,
same teacher. I had Mr. Sonia as a teacher also.
and he was awesome. That whole group down there, they really had an impact on who I became as an individual. Mr. Cameron lived in Lynn. We all our indoor track meets.
You had Mr. Cameron also?
Yeah. So he came to all my track meets and everything. So like, and that's why I say like I got all this stuff from all these people when I was there, and like you said, now it's our turn.
Yes.
To bring it back full circle.
Yes.
To like the kids now.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? How small is the world? How is this little kid from Honduras ended up having the same teacher as you? Have you been in Massachusetts?
So I grew up in Lawrence my whole life. So
isn't that crazy? We had the same teachers, man. That's incredible. And now we're coaching the same team together. Let's go, right. Reggies.
Electrical.
Right. Right, man. I graduated from electrical too. It's all the same teachers, Mr. Chula, Mr.
Crazy.
Cameron, Mr. Sonia. I have Mr. Hardacre, which he just recently retired also. And Mr. Cronin.
He was Hardacre was a substitute all the time when one of the guys was out when I was there.
Wow.
That's how he kind of got his foot in the door. And when Mr. Crafton took the coordinator job.
I'm hoping more kids have the same reaction and memory from the high school. Especially the one we went to, because honestly, it's been a great place for me ever since. Anna Medina, God, dude, I would have never made it through high school without Miss Medina. Anna Medina just saved my life through high school. I didn't know any English, so communication for me wasn't easy at the school. I'm a little Honduran kid. I was even shorter then than I am now. So you can no English whatsoever, new to the country. And I don't know, there's this mother figure there who's like, hey, hola, ¿cómo estás? How can I help you? I'm like, I can actually understand you.
She's always been very good about picking up on the signals. And, I feel like every year there's like 10 or 12 kids in each class as they come in that she's like, all right, those are my babies now.
Yeah.
Those are the ones I have to take care of.
But she's still Latino. So if I get out of line, she's still Latina, right? Like, so I'm like, yes, mom. So you have to. And then my sophomore year, dude, MCAS was a nightmare for me. I don't know any English, dude. I'm a sophomore in high school. My English is all broken down. I could barely write in Spanish. Imagine my English.
Right. And at that point, you were doing just enough that you were able to do your schoolwork, and you were like, okay, well, I'm getting by.
Yes, and now they hit me with MCAS. I had Miss Hennessy as an English teacher my sophomore year. She's one of the greatest memories I have of my sophomore year, because she was so patient with me. And she didn't know Spanish at the time. Now she's super fluent in Spanish. We talk Spanish all the time with Miss Hennessy now. And I just remember her being so patient with me, taking all the time. We were going through the English to Spanish dictionary for to try to put words together and communicate. She made it work. My English was very broken, very limited. She didn't know any Spanish. Like, my English was better than her Spanish. And somehow she made it work. I passed my English MCAS first try with a very good grade too. All thanks to Ms. Hennessy, man. The MCAS wasn't a problem for me because I had a great teacher. And then Mr. Middleton just kicked it up a notch my junior year, made it another great experience for me to go through English classes. And now my English got a lot better. But it's incredible, man. How was growing up in Lawrence?
I loved it.
Yeah.
Like, I did. So I started as a kid on Tower Hill. We lived right next to the reservoir, which was awesome. So, like, having that right there, snowy days on a snow day.
Right.
Me and my brother could walk. We could go sledding, all that stuff. And then when I was probably 8, we moved over to this section of the city right down the street from the ballpark and stuff. So, like, I always had places to go and, like, play with my friends. I grew up in a neighborhood that I was fortunate enough that there was 4 or 5 kids my age, and we were the kings of the neighborhood.
Right.
Like, we'd be out from the time the sun came up in the morning to the last street light came on. And, like, those are the things that, like, I remember all the time. And I'm just like, man, like, I feel like kids don't do that, like, these days anymore.
Different times, right? Different times. Going outside is not, it's not as attractive. Right. Obviously it is because technology, though. It is because of technology. We didn't have access to all that technology as they do now, which I don't know what type of kid I would have turned into having access to all this technology. Believe it or not, I'm an antisocial. I'm an antisocial.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that one bit.
People don't tend to believe it, but I'm an antisocial. I don't really like social gatherings. I like this. No, this is easy.
But, it's funny. I'm the same way. Like, I don't want, like, I could sit at home by myself for, like, the entire night and be content.
No problem.
If you tell me, hey, I'm having a little get together, blah blah. Yeah, you know what? Like, I'm gonna come.
Right.
And I might at first be like, oh, I'm didn't grab myself that, and then you get there, and then all of a sudden, like, you're like, okay, you get into the groove, and all of a sudden, like, you're fine.
You're not gonna be there with the sour face. Right. You're gonna enjoy the gathering. But if you had to choose, that Netflix series
nothing beats a nice relaxing night, just kind of like sitting there. And I know that sounds horrible, but
right, to anybody else that sounds like a nightmare. But alone time is so important, man. It's you. That's when you get to know yourself, and I don't think people take the time to do that very often.
But I think that's why I don't want to say when negative things happen, but when I face challenges, because I've had those opportunities to sit and learn about myself and process things at certain times and stuff, that when bigger tragedies have happened in my life, I don't want to say I've been the one that's kind of been a little bit more even keel and been the one that's been able to go around and check on other people and make sure others are okay, because I've learned how to process things in a different manner, I guess.
That makes sense. I think that's something that I still got to learn how to balance, because I do enjoy my alone time. But that's a very good point. What happens with that alone time when things are not so good, right? When there's something happening, like, that alone time can be tricky, and it is complicated. And I still don't know how to do it correctly. I'm trying my best as best as I can, but it gets tricky. Because, if everything's okay, if everything's going fine, that Netflix series is easy to watch. But when things go sideways, okay, how do I talk to myself? Or how do I open up? Because that's the other
Right.
side of being antisocial,
Right.
right? Opening up to other people is not simple, man. It's a tricky journey. It's a weird defense mechanism that we developed.
Right. And it can lead to depression without you actually
Yes.
realizing that you're depressed.
Yes.
And I have a very close friend that suffers from severe depression. And I talk to him all the time. And I say to him, I go, asking me or somebody for help, I hope he knows not a weakness. It's actually
Right.
a strength.
Right.
It actually shows how strong you are, that you're admitting that you can't
Right.
do this by yourself. And
But it's
the,
hard to put that together though, because it's hard to not view it as a weakness, right?
Right.
Because wait, I'm asking for help, or wait, I can't handle this on my own. So I immediately you put that weakness label on it immediately. But I think you're right. It's the courage that it takes for you to admit that. That just strength on its own. But having the mental maturity to realize that's the trick. That's the trick. And that's when finding the right people to talk to comes very, very handy. Because you can't talk about these things with just anybody, right? First of all, not everybody cares enough. Second of all, not everybody has the expertise to actually say something that is gonna actually help. Most of the people, I'm gonna say something super obvious. Are you sad? Oh, don't be sad. Oh,
okay,
right,
now I'm happy.
genius. So don't be sad, right, genius? Which is super simple. I wish you were right, right? I wish it was that easy. But I think it starts with having those conversations with yourself and eventually finding the right people to have those conversations with. Do you think teenagers today struggle with that more than when we were in high school?
I think yes, but I think the real reason is because of all of the technology and all of the social media
Hmm.
aspect of it. Because a lot of it now, where kids are experiencing depression and stuff, it comes from the online bullying or the body shaming on TikTok and this and that, where we didn't. I don't want to say our bullying was face to face,
Right.
like you know what I mean. So you could just walk away.
Right.
You could walk away
you
from
only
it
dealt
and
with it
not,
if it was
and
there.
not deal with it.
Yeah.
Whereas these kids are getting text messages at home and seeing Facebook posts about them, and I think that that's the challenge. And they might not have the strength or the know-how of how to handle it and who to go to stop it. And
Yeah. Because that's one of the things that worries me a little bit about, being a father, right? Because I do have two kids right now. And how do you give them the right tools, or how do you know you're giving them the right tools? That's a very
right,
tricky,
you think you're giving them the right ones,
right?
but
Or sometimes you don't, you think you're not, and you try to do extra
yeah.
when you actually are. Because that's the other side of it. Sometimes you are doing things correctly, but you're so freaked out about not doing it correctly that you try to do extra, and all the extra is the one that messes things up.
Right. Or it's confusing them, and because now
Yes.
they feel like they're getting 9 messages instead
Yeah.
of the 2 that they need.
Right, right. Was your mom around along with your
Yes.
dad?
Yeah. Same thing. She was a nurse. She worked second shift. So that was a sacrifice my parents made growing up, was dad being a teacher and coaching and her working second shift. There was maybe 3 nights a week that we were home together as a full family, but they made that decision so that there'd always be a caregiver present.
Right.
And same thing, she was the one that was cutting my butt around to all my sports when dad was working or doing whatever. And we talked a little bit during soccer season. She had passed away last May, so it's coming up on a year next month. Part of coaching soccer was something that I felt like gave me purpose back and
Right.
energy and stuff like that.
Yeah. How do you navigate those first months?
It's it's weird. Um, I I was lucky enough that I have a friend that the year prior had lost his mom, and he was kind of able to tell me the things that I was gonna see or experience and
Experience.
stuff, and it's the firsts. It's the first things that happen, like
Yeah.
not to be silly, but like we got our first win. And it's something that I was like, man, like mom would have loved to hear about that,
Oh, I see.
and then like you hit Thanksgiving, you hit Christmas,
Yeah.
it like, and then you think of things like it's another silly thing, but my mother was a horrible cook.
Oh
She was a
no.
horrible cook. But man, she made the best meatballs you would ever have in your entire life. My father can't make the meatballs the way my
Oh,
mother
I
made the meatballs.
see.
He made everything else.
Everything else, but the
But
meatballs gotta be mom.
like, and you sit there and you go, I'm never gonna have like mom's meatballs again. Like,
Dude,
like
come on, man. Don't do this to me.
you know what I mean? But it's like those are the things.
Yeah.
Like you'll always remember like how much he loved you and
Yeah.
like all those things, but it's all those weird little things that like you might not have appreciated in the moment that,
Right.
like I said, like you're gonna go to a restaurant and you're gonna see meatballs on the menu and you're gonna be like, oh crap.
Yeah.
It's, and like I said, it sounds crazy, but
No, not at all, man. I always said the small things that matter, and that's true everywhere, especially on what you're just talking about, man. Because that's what you truly remember. It's one of the best advice somebody gave me when Bertha, my wife, was pregnant with my first born, was do not try to make a happy kid happier. And I didn't quite get it at the beginning. I'm like, I make zero sense. I'm like, what are you trying to tell me? And they left it at that. There was no explanation. And I'm like, what the hell? And that boggled me for a couple. I'm like, okay, whatever. Then the kid is born, and then out of nowhere, the kid is outside playing, just being curious. And you're like, oh, they seem like they're having a good time. And then you get this idea of, oh, you know what? Let's go somewhere. Let's go. And then you want to plan things out and do something big when the right choice was
just let them keep playing with that rock that they were spinning on the ground because it was like the
find
best thing in
another
the world to
rock.
them right then.
Find another rock and just be there next to him. Just be there next to him, because just being there was more than enough, right? We keep going back to just what being there means, and it doesn't get any more special than a mother. Your mom being there, and then when she's not, that of course that's what you're gonna miss. All the small little details, man. Because at the end of the day, they were not small at all. Ooh, that's deep. Let me try to process that a little bit. I don't wanna cry on the internet. What is wrong with me? I do appreciate you sharing that, though. That was beautiful, man. And oh boy, but now this helps me understand also why you're the way you are, right? And it speaks of the importance of growing up with parents that were present, because not everybody has that luxury, man. And you were blessed to have mom and dad there taking care of you guys, making everything, all the right adjustments, so there was always somebody present at the house. And I 100% understand that. It's funny, right? Because it's kind of like a mirror of what my wife and I have gone through so far. And again, I only had I have an 8-year-old and a 3-year-old, and we've done that. Also, I'm coaching and working at the school. She's working at a nursery home, and multiple years we had different shifts just so one of us can always be with the little one. And then little by little we molded our schedules based on, okay, how can we always be present with them? And those little sacrifices, they do pay off, man. And I'm happy to find out that they pay out even on the long run, because you're a perfect example of that. The way you speak about your mom, the way you speak about your father, it really shows what being present actually represents for parents towards their kids, man. And anybody listening out there, man, be there for your kids. Jesus, Lord, that is so important. It is so necessary in the world. And in a way, coaching allows you to do that.
Yeah.
For the kids that we get in contact with. And do you transfer some of that energy to them? Do you think
I feel like I feel like I do. I don't know if they're interpreting it that way right now, but like that's my goal is to make the people that I come in contact with feel love.
right?
I mean, it sounds simple, you know,
Isn't it the hardest thing, though?
but I want them to know that I appreciate them and what they're doing for me. And there's no better feeling than when somebody that you're involved with does something good.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Right.
you know, we had our first meet this year, and all of my girls were all down on themselves because like they didn't feel like they were having good practices. They didn't feel like, you know, they were fast enough, this and that. And the first meet, one of the girls won all the events. We had girls finish in third, and like they kicked the other team's butt, and they all had like awesome times. And just seeing their smiles and faces, like when they were done, like
it doesn't get better than that.
It doesn't. Like it makes you feel like you're making a difference.
Right. How come you don't have kids, man? That might be a weird question to ask, and you don't have to answer it. Please don't if you don't want to. But you will make such a great dad. It's kind of like unfair. There's not a kid that is just has you as a dad.
So I'll be honest. Like there were times where I was like, oh, you know what, I should settle down. I should start a family. I should do this. Ultimately, I do kind of like my freedom. And it's kind of one of those things where that was the other reason why I didn't get involved in coaching until later on. I wanted to travel. I wanted to do things, and I wanted to be able to do things on my schedule. And now I've kind of done the majority of the things that I had kind of set out to do and see. And you know, so like now it's a little life shift.
That's a very good answer, by the way. Where have you gone?
So I haven't done too much internationally. I've done cruises and stuff where I've done like
the U.S. is so damn big.
Caribbean islands and
international.
Stuff. But I've been to 43 of the 50 states.
Holy stuff!
So the last couple of years, like probably the last 3 or 4, I've started doing like road trips. I bought this last spring. I bought a rooftop tent for my car, and you know, I've gone to national parks and camped in them, and
I really got to know the states.
Like I take like 2.5 weeks off, and I just go and I drive, and I have like markers for like certain places I want to be at certain times. But like this past May, I went to Yosemite, Sequoia. I just like.
What's one place that you've like visited and you're like, oh my God, this I will never forget this?
I'm gonna be honest, driving through Yosemite National Park and like stopping and like seeing the things, it's just so breathtaking. Like to know that nature could create like such beauty, and that we haven't ruined it yet as a society is like astounding to me. But just like, and really like any of the national parks that I've been to, that one sticks out because it's the most recent. But like I've been to the Grand Canyon. I took a helicopter tour from Las Vegas into it and landed 500 feet above the Colorado River. Like
that's insane,
it's
dude.
just
that's how big is it actually?
Oh my God!
You're there?
Oh my! Like words can't describe it.
Right.
Like you think like skyscrapers like in Boston or New York are tall when you look up at them, like,
Nothing
like you know what I mean?
compares.
Like it's insane.
That is one of the trips that we really want to make as a family. Going to the Grand Canyon. I do a lot of research and stuff, and there's two theories about how he came to be, right? Um, saying that it was just one massive flood that just all the ice from the north continent just melted from meteor impact, and all that flood just carved that, and it's insane how big that is. Archaeologists say that it was just a constant river flow through a bunch of years that did that, regardless what the real reasoning behind it is. Dude, when I seen it in videos, you're so insignificant when there was a human standing there, and like holy stuff, that is massive. I've seen so many podcasts and documentaries on the Grand Canyon. Is definitely one of my go-to places, man. I can't even.
It's breathtaking. Like I said, like you could stand there for hours and just look at it and not get bored.
Right.
Like it's astounding. It is something you have to see and do.
Other than travel, right? What else do you like doing?
I mean, really, traveling has been the big thing. Like staying active, like golfing, like just playing little sports and stuff. Obviously, I'm a sports fan in general at coaching, so going to the Sox games or Bruins, Patriots.
You visit a lot of stadiums?
I do. So that's another thing that I've done is like on some of my road trips, I've stopped and seen games at places and stuff. And it's just, it's nice to go to a game when you don't have a rooting interest and you can enjoy the arena or the ballpark for its beauty and stuff. And like, even on this past one, I didn't go to a lot of games, but like I drove by, like Busch Stadium in St. Louis, and I drove by like other famous stadiums, like on the way in. Just even driving by and like seeing them in their beauty from outside is amazing. So I can imagine what the fan experience is inside.
Being in a game.
Yeah.
I love stadiums, man. Which one would you say is the best stadium in the U.S.? Well, the best arena. There's a bunch of arenas too.
So
there's so many good ones, man.
See, I've never been in it. My brother and my sister-in-law were lucky enough to go to the Winter Classic there, but Notre Dame. I drove by and I got to see it from the outside, and just the campus itself is beautiful, and just like the way that the stadium is kind of like nestled into it, like those are the things that like I like think about, and like I'm a huge Duke fan. Like I grew up watching Duke basketball, and Grant Hill and all those teams were there. So coming back from track nationals with the team last year, I had driven down and I drove all through the campus and stuff. And to me, all those like old colleges and just the way that they were built and the buildings on campus that look like castles and stuff like that, like that's what gets me excited. Is just kind of, which is funny. Would think I would have became like an architect or something with the way that like I look at that kind of stuff. But like I just enjoy like seeing things, and
now I'm down with you, man. That's exactly what I like. I don't, cities don't really do it for me, but stadiums, there's something about stadiums that it just attracts me. Like it's impossible not to be happy when you're in there.
I get it.
And then if you expand it to all the other ones you visited, that's got to be incredible. What do you think is the benefit of travel?
I think it makes you appreciate what you have in a way. Like it's nice to go places, but then when you come home, it makes you kind of appreciate the things you have, because sometimes you go out and you see these other things and you see the way other people live, and you can sometimes just get accustomed to things being easy for you here. And then you can see, like, when I've gone on some of my cruises to go to some islands, and it's a struggle for people. And you come home and you're like, man, like, I can walk down the street and I can go get a cheeseburger. Like,
Perspective.
like, you know what I mean? It's like one of those things. Like, it makes you appreciate things more. You get to come back and share your experience with people. So as much as I enjoy being on the road, I love, like, that feeling of,
Wow, that's a good point. Your perspective has to be molded by it. And then if you have the right mindset, then you apply it to the way you live
right,
and you try to make things better.
you know, and there's places I've been that I'm like, man, like, this is where I could retire. Like, you go someplace and it's just so calm and relaxed. And I say all the time, like, when I'm on my trips, you can tell when you leave the Northeast and when you're getting to the rest of the country, because everything starts getting spread out.
Yeah.
And it is. It's so much more relaxed. Like, driving 16 hours from, like, here to North Carolina is a pain in the butt because you're in bump of traffic and
Right.
doing stuff. Driving 16 hours from, like, Ohio to Nevada, you're on the road and there might be like 12 other people with you, and you're
Cruise
just like,
control.
you know what I mean? So, like, your whole demeanor
Yeah.
changes. Like, you're less stressed. You can just sit there, you can take things in. And I also don't know if I could live my whole life that way, though. Like,
Right.
part of it
Right.
is, like, I'm so used to the hustle and bustle.
Yeah.
That's why I appreciate it so much in those windows that I'm out there. So, like, as much as I say, oh, I could retire to, you know, Colorado or this or that,
2 weeks in, you're
then
like
oh my
Mr.
God,
Chaos.
you know what I mean?
That's a very good point, man. Listen, this has been incredible, man. Getting to know you on a more personal level, it's a joy. And having you share about your mom, your dad, I really do appreciate that you almost got me. You almost got me.
I almost got myself.
You almost got me. But it's a beautiful message at the end of the day. And the message of travel, I think we don't do it enough. I think we don't do it enough. And we always have the economical side of it, right? That is a factor. But I think there's ways to make it work, that it doesn't have to be Hawaii all the
Right.
time. Like, travel just means go out there, get to know the world, and hopefully if any young person hears this, takes that from you too, that it's, you have to get to know your country, you have to get to know your city, you have to go out and explore, man. It's that's what makes humans human.
There's so many beautiful things in this country, even if you
Yes.
don't have the means to travel abroad.
Exactly.
There's so many things
Yeah.
just in the United States that you could go to see that would change your perspective on life in general.
Exactly. Because I think that's the big takeaway about just going out there and explore the world, man. It's what literally, that's what makes humans human. Like, we are known for that adventurous spirit.
Yeah.
And that's how we went from, little tiny towns, from hunter gatherers, to New York City out of nowhere, right? I'm like, wait a minute. That's how. Yeah, we gotta get to know the world. We gotta get to know people, understand people a little bit better, and for the most cases, like you're a vivid example of that. It turns you into a better person. It really does. Once you get to know the people around you, and then the people outside of your communities, perspective changes you, and for the most part, it changes you for the better. So thank you for sharing, my friend. We've been here for over an hour.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, listen, any close with any with one line, or something positive, something that you might want to share, that if a young man listens to it, a young girl listens to it, they could take with them. That might be a little too much pressure.
No, like, honestly, just believe in yourself.
Mhm.
If you don't believe in yourself, it doesn't matter how many people believe in you. you're only going to hit your goals in life if you believe you can. And something I've always said to my athletes is you need to visualize it into existence.
That's right.
So, visualize it, believe it, and it'll happen.
It'll happen. I think we'll close with that one, man. Thank you very much, my friend.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it. See you guys around. If you made it this far, don't forget to subscribe. Let us know what your thoughts are. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time.